Chanel has had a makeup line since 1924, and Prada, well, they just launched their makeup line. So who does it better? Let's go through each makeup brand and see who comes out on top throughout each category. By the way, guys, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Michelle Bali. I am the makeup tester. I test all the makeup so that you guys can make the best purchasing decisions. And in this video, I have tested all the makeup. So I come from a place of knowledge. You know, I know what is up with both of these brands. If you guys like makeup content, I make videos every week. So just hit subscribe and let's just get into the video. Starting with primer. Prada does not have a primer, so Chanel immediately gets a point for that. However, Prada does have a foundation. It is called the Prada Reveal Skin, and guys, when I tell you that this is a second skin, it's like you're not wearing foundation at all. It's like your skin is just this good. That being said, it's not overly dewy, it's not overly matte, it's just kind of this like in-between texture. The foundation is super soft. It's really breathable. It feels like you're not wearing anything on the skin. You're gonna forget that you're wearing foundation. And I love it because it has buildable coverage, so you can start off slow, or if you have like pesky blemishes or dark circles or redness, you can build it up and really get some good coverage there. It's about $70. You have 33 shades to choose from, which is not bad. It is refillable, and guys, I have to say, the packaging was a big part of why I bought this. It is so genius, and it is so visually appealing. It's very like Art Deco. Okay, guys, so on the other hand, Chanel, they just have more selection to choose from. They have 9 foundations, and by far their most popular one is the Freshwater tint, at least in recent years. It's definitely my favorite. I love this foundation. It gives you a healthy, dewy look, not greasy, not oily looking. It's just like radiant. It is such a popular foundation that other brands actually tried to dupe it, and were actually pretty successful at duping it. CoverGirl has one, and they did such a good job with that foundation. I know Rose Inc has a similar one, but I digress. It is so soft, lightweight, milky, creamy, blurring on the skin. It gives you this like dewy radiance to your skin. It does not look like you're wearing foundation. It just looks like your skin is plump and moisturized and hydrated. It has a really unique gel texture. It's got those like really cool beads that burst as you're blending it out on the skin. So it's really unique. It's really different, but it gives you such a beautiful kind of like bare skin radiance. The one thing that I will say that is a little bit disappointing is the shade selection just isn't there. So minus some points for that. I think there's like 9 shades. No, it's actually 8 shades. Even worse. So for the foundation category, I'm gonna have to give this one to Chanel, because not only do they have a larger selection of foundations, but the Freshwater tint is my absolute favorite. It cannot do any wrong in my book. So this point is going to Chanel. Eyeshadow. Okay guys, this is gonna be such a tough category. Each brand has a very different vision of what they wanted their eyeshadows to be. Starting with Prada. Okay, so Prada has refillable quads. They're beautifully laid out in the pan, but their color stories tend to be like a little bit more eccentric. So each pan is gonna have 3 neutrals and 1 pop of color. Even though there is that pop of color and the color stories are a little bit louder, they still feel really sophisticated and really wearable. There's a sense of dynamicism to the color stories, and definitely something where you can like mix and match the looks. You can do something more neutral, or you can do something a little bit more, you know. But yes, definitely comparing them side by side, the Prada shadows are gonna be a lot more kind of like avant-garde color stories than the more neutral Chanel tones. Now the formulation, guys, these shadows are made to pack a punch. They are extremely pigmented. They glide on so smoothly. They do the blending for you. The formulation of the actual Prada shadows are top tier. I wasn't expecting it actually. Really intense creamy color, very little fallout. These are top performing shadows. And yes, guys, these are gonna go for $65 a quad, so definitely not cheap. So you gotta know you're gonna love it. And I'm telling you, if you guys pick one of these up, you're gonna love it. Now let's move on to Chanel. So Chanel, those formulas are gonna be a little bit different to the Prada ones. Starting with the color stories. The color stories are just typically neutral, browns, roses, grays, taupes, unless they're doing kind of like a limited edition, but typically speaking, very chic, understated colors. And then in terms of the actual formulation, the shadows are a lot softer, they're a lot more powdery, and they're less pigmented. There is a little bit more fallout, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like the Chanel shadows are just like meant to be a little bit more French, a little bit more mature, a little bit more classic. I wouldn't say sophisticated, because there's each sophisticated in their own right, but a lot more I think classic's a good word. But yeah, guys, certainly not as expressive, not as punchy as the Prada shadows. If you're looking for something that you want to make sure is foolproof, something that you can wear to work every single day and you know you're never gonna mess it up. Something that you can put on in the car with ease, you know, like it doesn't require that much of your attention. I think the Chanel quads are gonna be perfect for you. And I believe they're 68 doll hairs. Yeah, $68 per quad. So like similar pricing. Okay, so I'm gonna have to give this category to Prada. Prada is taking the eyeshadow category. Not only do I prefer their refillable packaging, but I love their color stories. They really force you to be creative and like think outside of your comfort zone. The formulations are so buttery, so smooth, so blendable. Honestly, these shadows like can't be matched. And sometimes when they come in like little quads like that, you underestimate, but the Prada shadows blew me out of the water and I didn't expect what was coming to me. Chanel 2 points, Prada 1 point. I'm excited to see where this turns out. I have no idea who's gonna win. We're just going. We're just flying by the seat. So Prada, surprisingly and shockingly, does not have a mascara. I feel like they'd be all over that, and I could just see the packaging now. It's going to be stunning, because for sure they're gonna come out with that. So we're gonna have to just, I mean, automatically the point is gonna go to Chanel, but I wouldn't just automatically give it to them if their mascara sucked. Their mascara, it pains me to say because it's so dang expensive. It's like $40 a tube. Their mascara is way too good. It comes in 3 different colors. It comes in like a midnight blue, a cocoa brown, and a kind of charcoaly black. Oh my gosh. It gives you length. It gives you volume. It gives you like doll-like lashes, separation, curl. It holds a curl all day, guys. This mascara is honestly, it's perfect. I love my Dior Show mascara, but I think this is better. I think it's coming out on top. And guys, I love the little packaging of it. It looks like really understated, unassuming, kind of this like thin black tube. You know, you wouldn't expect much of it, but
it does something. It does something. I don't know what it is that it does, but it does do. It does do something.
Okay, easily 1 point to Chanel, because not only was there no competition here, but also compared to even my favorites, this one takes the cake. Let's talk about makeup brushes. Prada sells individual makeup brushes. I have not had the pleasure or chance to try any of them. They look dang nice. But what I will say is I have had the displeasure of trying the Chanel brushes, because they were gifted to me, beautiful gift, but how disappointing when the hairs just ended up all over my face. The barrels kind of came off the brushes. Like, what a bummer, you know? And I have heard of quality issues with Chanel's packaging just in general. Like, you know, for me, the foundation that I have, my compact foundation, the lid came off and broke off, which sucked. And I've heard of other people online saying the same thing. So I think they do have some quality issues, which it's not great. So negative point, guys. I'm actually giving Chanel a negative point for this. See that, guys? That is a negative point because we're not impressed. Okay, lip category. Prada has 2 different options for lipsticks. They have a hyper matte and then they have like a softer matte. By the way, guys, if you're interested in these lipsticks, I have a whole video swatching them on my arm and trying them on my lips so that you guys can see which shade you want to buy if you're interested in making that purchase. I will link that right over here or here. I never know which way to point, but I will link that here and in the description box if you guys want to see that later. But I digress. 2 different formulas to choose from. They have a hyper matte and a soft matte. Okay, let's talk about these lipsticks. Okay, so I love these lipsticks because they're very versatile. You can either blur it out for this like beautiful romantic look, or you can go for a more solid line around the lip to give you a more bold, like traditional, classic, bold matte lip. They're very versatile. They come in 36 gorgeous shades. You got berries, you got reds and nudes and beiges. Did I say 36? No, it's 13. However, one thing I will say is that some of the shades, especially the ones that have like a more white base, the more like nudie shades, they are gonna leave your lips a little bit dry, a little bit cracked, a little dehydrated. I don't know why. They're just like a little more drying. So I don't know if that bothers you, but that would be my one complaint. But the packaging. The packaging is absolutely stunning, absolutely timeless, classic, gorgeous. They thought of everything with the little details. They have like this hidden baby mint green on the inside of the cap. It's really weighty and heavy in the hand. I feel like they definitely weighted this just to give it like more of a luxe feel, but it adds to the experience. Beautiful metal encasement, and also it is refillable, which is really great. We'll want to say I think a full lipstick is $50 and then the refill is $40. So yeah, it's a lot. I was gonna say it's not bad, but it's a lot. I think it's a lot. If you wanna get yourself one, I mean, you can get yourself one, right? Okay, so Chanel lipsticks. You're gonna get more variety with Chanel lipsticks. They have glossy, they have matte, they have super matte, they have balmy, they have all the different textures. They have so many more different colors. There's more variety. That's 100% for sure. I will say the packaging is maybe a little bit superior, especially on, which is the one that I really like? The Luminous Lip. The Luminous Lip one has gorgeous packaging. It's kind of like a push bottom. It makes a beautiful noise, slides out so delicately. It's just a better experience, that packaging. Maybe not as heavy or weighty in the hand, but it is, both of the packaging has their strength. So even though I prefer the shade selection and the variety and the packaging of the Chanel lipsticks, I'm gonna have to give this point to Prada. Okay, here's why. Because you can walk into pretty much any CVS, any drugstore, any Ulta, Sephora, and get a very comparable lip product to the Chanel lipsticks. But with Prada, the difference is that I think it was my first time trying something like that. It's blurring, it's different. I've never played with formulas like that. So just because you can't really get it anywhere else, other than maybe like K-Beauty, I'm gonna give this point to Prada. By the way, guys, if you love Chanel makeup, you're curious about which products are good, which products you can pass on, I have an entire video dedicated to the Chanel makeup buying guide. If you guys wanna see that, I'm gonna pop it here. I'm gonna put it in the description box as well, and you guys can watch that later. But it's just really helpful when figuring out which Chanel products to buy and which ones you're like, nah, not so good. If you guys are curious to see the Prada products that I talked about today, I have a whole video. I think it's called like I did a supermodel look with the Prada beauty line. So if you guys want to see that, how it performs on the face, how it swatches, what it looks like, I'm gonna put that right here. I think I was like in a pretty moody mood that day. So if you guys want to see me in my feels, putting on some Prada makeup, then I will link that here and in the description box if you're curious and want to see how the products perform before you actually go ahead and make that purchase. But yeah, guys, let's do a roundup and see who won. I have my phone here. I'm gonna do the counting. Okay, guys, that's crazy. So Prada and Chanel came out pretty equal, I think 2 and 2. Hopefully I did the math right. That's gonna be a weird end to this video if I didn't do the math right, and someone will show me up in the comments. But I think they came out pretty equal. And honestly, they are pretty equal even in my brain. I would say if you're the type of person, maybe you're new to makeup, you don't want to dive right into really pigmented colors or formulas that are hard to work with, definitely go with Chanel. If you have more mature skin, if you like a more understated, sophisticated, elegant, classic, timeless look, go with Chanel. If you're into more of the sophisticated side where it's kind of like edgy sophisticated, go with Prada. If you are maybe bored with makeup, bored with neutrals, and you want to be pushed to do something different, go with Prada. If you want to be challenged, if you want to just step outside of your comfort zone, go with Prada. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with Prada. So, does that answer your question? They came out equal, just for 2 different types of folks, okay? I am the makeup tester. I test all the makeup so that you guys can make the best purchasing decisions. If that sounds good to you, then hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.